Hello everyone, my name is Solomon SK for Coffee and RPGs, and I want to say thank you so much for clicking on this video. I normally don't do a whole lot of reaction videos, but I wanted to do it this time around, especially with Mass Effect Legendary Edition, because this is one of my most absolute top 10, if not top 5 games of all time in my personal list. And from the title, as you can tell, I'm doing it for nostalgic reasons too. Anyways, let's get started. I know a lot of you guys have been waiting for this as well, and so
consider hitting the subscribe button down below, as well as the bell notification right next to it. Thank you.
So right off the bat, we got the Normandy. I think that's the afterlife, if I'm not mistaken. The Citadel? When it's closed, I think? I really appreciate this shot. I remember seeing this back then when it first came out, and it never really occurred to me how cyberpunk this sort of setting looks, and yeah, I really dig it, especially with the sci-fi-ness of the game and not really being a cyberpunk game, but you definitely get a little bit of that 80s that the original Mass Effect game was inspired by, and that's part of the reason why I really like the series, because they try to go back and do some of that retrofuturism, not exactly like on par with, say, something like Fallout, but anyways, I kind of digress, but I really do like the cyberpunk look and feel of this particular scene. Citadel again. In this part, I believe, is in part 3, when they build like this huge structure. I forget what it was called, but it was supposed to connect with a citadel to defeat the main antagonists, and I completely forgot what they're called. The Reavers or something? No. My goodness, I can't even remember the name, the main protagonist in this game anymore. I know there was Sovereign, but he was like the main antagonist in the first one, but he belongs to a large group of other, you know, beings like him that absolutely want to destroy the universe, or the galaxy in this case. Inside the Citadel. That's an amazing shot. There's Ashley. And the Prothean! I forgot his name, but I remember thinking to myself, in Mass Effect lore, ancient aliens is actually a thing, you know? It's actually true, according to Mass Effect lore, so I thought that was kind of interesting. Yara, Garrus. I think that was Katsumi, I believe, and she was like some sort of crazy hacker of some type. And she wasn't romanceable either. I think a lot of people wanted to romance her, but she wasn't. Yeah, this shot again. Like, I can't remember what these things were called. Man, it's been too long, unfortunately. I remember this scene. I remember Tali just kind of throwing herself off if you make some mistakes in your decisions, because she was absolutely getting, or her people were getting destroyed somehow. Fortunately, I remember when I was first going through this playthrough, that didn't happen. So fortunately, I made the right decisions where she didn't throw herself off the ledge there. But in any event, it was a pretty interesting moment. But anyways. The genetically modified Grogan, I think we just saw, right? Actually, he's right there in the back too. Again, forgot his name. I know that's a Geth, but again, I forgot his name too. That's Jack. And don't ask me how I remember her, but I mean, it's kind of hard not to remember her. She's such a memorable character. Very different from all the other characters. And this one's interesting. Again, you got the Prothean. You got, so the really buff guy on the left there, he's from part 3. Again, forgot his name. I think it was something Hispanic, if I recall. Again, I don't remember the name of the AI either, but she's obviously the AI from Cerberus that created her. And you know, to be honest with you, I forgot. I think his name is Adrian or something like that. In all my playthroughs, I always saved Ashley. Just, I don't know. Maybe I played too much like a White Knight, but I never once saved him in a complete playthrough. But that, you know, I think I'll probably save him, excuse me, this time around. But anyways. I think we just saw Thane, which is really cool. I really liked him as a character. He was the assassin, I believe, that had a terminal illness, and so he was pretty much a ticking time bomb in terms of dying or something like that. So yeah, he was a really interesting character. And then obviously you have Joker here. I don't even remember his real name. That's kind of like his pilot name or something like that, or nickname. But yeah, I remember he had like some sort of crippling defect of some sort, and I really like the way that they've written his character. Very interesting. Yeah, see, again, that Grogan, I can't remember his name. I remember you had to pass a really difficult speech check of some sort in order for Ashley not to shoot him. I can't believe I forgot his name. And then he would show up in part 2 as sort of the leader of the Krogans in some planet with, those monster worms or whatever and whatnot, if he lived in the first one. And obviously you have the lovely Miranda, played by Yvonne, I can't pronounce her last name, who was in Chuck, obviously. Definitely a really good pick for her and her character as well. Oh, the scientist. Again, completely forgot his name too. These specific beings, I think, only lived maximum of 40 years because of the way they think and talk so fast and whatnot. So Admiral Hackett, I believe his name was. A lot of fast edits. Yeah, and you had the if I could scroll back just here a little bit. This guy was a mercenary. I think he was a DLC character. I can't remember. I remember he had like a very strong Australian accent, I think it was. And I remember thinking, man, this guy's a really tough SOB. And yeah. Again, don't remember his name either.
You were born to...
See, wait, hang on. I'm going to go back here really quick. See, this armor here is from the first one. And if I remember correctly, BioWare just finished Knights of the Old Republic 2, and they were looking to make sort of a different sci-fi RPG. And the thing with Star Wars is that it kind of has that sort of aesthetics from the 80s. Well, in terms of sci-fi 80s. And I think they were trying to carry on some of that similar aesthetic as well. Obviously, it changed over the course of the sequels in part 2 and 3. It looks nothing like the first one. And to me, I wouldn't say it necessarily makes me sad or disappointed, but maybe a little bit disappointed, because I really wish that a lot of the sequels looked very similar to the first one in terms of its 80s sci-fi style and in its armor and its vehicles and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, I still don't think that they're bad necessarily in part 2 and part 3, but clearly in part 1 they had the 80s in mind, in my opinion, or at least from what I can remember from some of the articles that I read. And that's why I really did enjoy the first one, because again, it's part of feeling that nostalgia, being somebody who was born in the mid 80s and growing up watching some of the cartoons from the late 80s to the early 90s and stuff like that. There is a certain look and feel, and I think that's why Stranger Things is such a huge show right now, because people really want to feel that nostalgia again from the 80s and whatnot. So yeah, I definitely appreciate the armor, because again, they're trying to go for that 80s feel. But anyways, I'm blabbing.
On to do this.
That's a really cool graphic. I dig it. It's very Star Wars like, when they do the whole collages, and I know a lot of JRPGs does that as well, or just Japanese games in general. Well, there you have it, everyone. I know I talked a lot, but I think I was just reminiscing so much, just thinking about the game, especially the first one. And yeah, they're gonna make some changes to the first one to be on sort of equal footing from what I can tell with the second and third one, and they're gonna be vast improvements. I really hope it's not that vast, to the point where it feels like an entirely different game, because they did say that part 1 is partly also a remake, more so than the second two, because there was just some clutter, I guess, that they just wanted to improve upon, including enemy AI, just the combat and whatnot. So anyway, so yeah, so I'll leave it at that. Definitely let me know down in the comment section below some of the things that you saw that was interesting or memorable for you, because there was a lot of scenes in there, and this video could easily be maybe an hour long if we were to take every frame by frame and just detail it out and whatnot. So anyways, everyone, thank you again. Hope you guys have a blessed night, and I will see you guys next time. Cheers again, everyone.